Hi, you are watching SightsIn Plus, and this is Romesh Srivastav. Please do subscribe the channel for the HR news, for the HR updates, and conversation with the top-notch CHROs, thought leaders, and business heads. Today, we are going to discuss a very interesting subject that is changing landscape of jobs in 2024. You can also call it the future of jobs in 2024. And we have two senior HR leaders. Let me introduce Mr. Sahil Nair. He's HR thought leader and top human resources voice on LinkedIn. And Ms. Deepti Mehta, she is a chief human resource officer at Interface Microsystems. Welcome, Sahil and Deepti. Sahil, if I come to you first, so there are various reports and researches, and according to these reports, the job market in 2024 is going to be better in comparison to 2023 or 2022. There would be 20% more jobs in this year. How do you see? What is your assessment about the 2024 job market?
So, Romesh, and all the viewers of SightsIn Plus, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Romesh. I think, to my mind, there are going to be three tectonic shifts that we are going to be seeing in the job market for 2024. At the back of COVID and the headwinds that we've seen from the West and also emerging from the East, you've seen the socioeconomic situation across the world playing out very, very differently. And of course, in more ways than one, India has been insulated in a big manner. Fundamentally, my hypothesis is we're going to see a rejig of the entire job market, with Gen AI taking center stage across various sectors and various job families. You will see bottom of the pyramid kind of jobs reinventing themselves. And therefore, all the students who are passing out in every subsequent batch, my request to each one of them is to not just acquire knowledge, but also skill sets in emerging technologies, because that is going to be a basic and no longer a differentiator. Point number one. Point number two, when we look at laterals, what we're typically looking at is a lot of people hitting their level of incompetence or coming at a stage where their compensation no longer justifies the kind of value that they're adding. And therefore, organizations today have moved away from what earlier used to be as job security to saying, where is it that individuals are adding value today? Earlier, people used to look at government jobs as being secure. And of course, private jobs also allowed a lot of people. But in COVID, all of us have seen how various employees had not just one offer, but multiple offers. And as the tables turned in just a couple of months, the same people who had multiple job offers were the people who were being laid off. And therefore, layoffs have become normal now. The question still remains on sustainability of careers. And we'll talk more about it as we move ahead. But my third point to wrap up the question, Romesh, on the tectonic shift is going to be redefined leadership. Today, when you look at either promoters or founders or well-established conglomerates, even they are significantly struggling to look at emerging leaders, young leaders who can fit into the large shoes of executives who have been in those positions for decades. So all in all, it's a rejig. You have a crux happening at the top. You have the bottom of the pyramid getting replaced with a lot of technology on repetitive jobs. And in the center of the pyramid, you have a lot of flux. So it's a very interesting space to watch out for. I'm not going to crystal ball gaze to tell you what the future is, because I don't think any one of us know the future. But what I will definitely say is that this is the space to watch out for. And all of us are living in a very, very dynamic environment where what is given as confirmed today can tomorrow be wiped out. And therefore, each one of us have to be very agile and nimble in this ever-changing world.
Sahil, I think very beautifully you have explained about the job market in this year, 2024. And if we trust on certain experts, so we can see also V-shaped recovery in IT and tech sectors in this year, maybe from the first quarter onwards, or if not on the first quarter onwards, then for sure from the second quarter onwards, we can see the V-shaped recovery in this. And according to the data, the manufacturing sector and life sciences sector, they can perform well, and we can see more jobs in this sector in this year. Deepti, how do you see how the job market may be in this year, 2024? What is your comment on this?
I would like to add wherein Sahil has already said, the emerging leader, that is something which is very important. Relearning, we have to unlearn certain things, we have to relearn, and we have to upskill. So this is not for only the people those who are joining in, or the millennials or Gen Z. It is for all of us. This has become an era. It is a VUCA word, and now we have to adapt this particular thing, like relearning and unlearn and reskilling, which is very important. I work with the auto sector, and wherein I was just having a discussion with the leaders, wherein we are finding a difficulty in finding the good talent today, because every now and then, every 3 months, 6 months, the technology is changing, and it is very difficult for an organization also to get the talent from outside. It is very important for us to train the talent, and there has to be multi-skilling, and there has to be a training system which has to be very strong, within the organization. So it is creating it, of course, the creating the market which is from outside is there, but whatever we are creating within the organization is also very, very important. So there are certain skills which we cannot find it from outside. We are now making sure that we are reshaping the organization, we are reskilling the talent, and that is how we are generating the jobs within the organization as well. As Sahil has rightly mentioned, called layoffs, it has become a general phenomena today. But we have to identify, we have to see what is the talent which is available. The talent also has to make sure that they are ready to relearn, they are ready to upskill, and they are ready to adjust within the culture of the organization, is also has become a very big issue for us. Having said that, in the auto sector, we are not, we are generating lot many jobs. It is not taking off the jobs. We are generating the jobs, because, the technologies are changing within 3 months. It is very difficult, because one particular vehicle, whenever we create and generate one vehicle, the software, it takes a year to create that software. Within that year, there are so many technological, there are so much digital changes which are coming in. It becomes a difficulty for the current talent, whosoever is generating that particular and preparing, and that particular software. Having said that, it is going to create jobs within the IT, within the auto sector, number one. Number two, it is, of course, taking away couple of jobs, which is very, very monotonous in job. Like, say for example, AI is coming in, ML is coming in, the manufacturing, typical manufacturing line job, this is gonna be it is taking that job. However, the AI, whenever it is there generated, the machine learning, how are we taking it forward? How many they are making sure that they have to be there, they have to train the other people how to use that particular thing, training those users, whosoever is using that particular technology in the auto sector has become a big thing. So, what I would say is, it will not take jobs, but it will create jobs for the specific skill sets, which is like ML, AI, the connected cars in auto, like if you have seen the autonomous driving design tools have also come in. Having said that, the engineers and the designers who are designing it, how are you going to train the other people to take that thing forward? It, say for example, it will take few job, which is like might be a driver job, they will take it. There are manual things which will be there, but creating a job which is too much in our particular sector. If I have to specify, data science and analytics, which is job in data analysis, and the interpretation will grow as the system generate and utilize the vast autonomous data and decision making in the optimization. Then another job which we are creating in auto sector is a cyber security. It is like very very important for us to have that cyber security, because lot of digital era which is coming in, how it is in demand, and experts in cyber security has to protect and against the potential threats and vulnerabilities which are coming in that particular software. Hardware engineering, so it is very important for our kind of sector, wherein we are developing an optimization of the hardware components. Then another very big thing which I have already said, it is for a training and support roles. It has been a big thing wherein we are deploying the AI, but we need to specialize to train the support user who are using that thing, addressing that issues which is and ensuring the efficient utilization of that particular skill set which is there. So this is how it is generating in a jobs in auto sector specifically. But again, we go back to basic. First of all, we have to relearn, we have to unlearn, and we have to upskill. And the talent has to be employees have to understand, when we are generating the jobs also, only people are bothered about layoffs, but I personally feel, of course, that generation of jobs are also there in 2024, we could see foresee.
Right. Sahil, if you look at the generative AI, so that is started in late 2020, and still I think we are trying to figure it out, that what is going to be the impact of the jobs. Nothing is very clear as of now. In 2023, the IBM CEO, Mr. Arvind Krishna, he was saying that 30% jobs that may be replaced by the generative AI. And yesterday, the IBM CHRO is saying that maybe there would be only impact on the 2% of the workforce. So because the IBM has 3 lakh employees, so that may be 6,000, 7,000 jobs that could be replaced by the generative AI. If you look another perspective, so maybe other 96% job, 90% job that could be influenced by the generative AI, but you can say better that may be complemented by the generative AI. If you are into a creative field, you may get the better idea, you may get some better content. How do you see how it is going to be the impact on jobs? What jobs that may be obsolete? What the new jobs may be there? And how do you see the impact of generative AI on jobs?
I think, Ramesh, that's a very powerful question, because what's going to happen is no longer can we shy away from technology. And I want to take a step back before I answer your question directly, because technology now is all pervasive. You name the industry, you name the sector, you name the geography, technology is coming into our daily lives, and like how. Now, coming specifically to Gen AI, I think, as I started off saying in the beginning, a lot of us fear that if there is so much of invasion of technology, it will impact us. But those are the ones who get impacted, are the ones who run away from it the most. I always say that whatever you run away from will always chase you down, but whatever you embrace will always support you. And I think the fundamental difference will not be between the people who know AI and who don't know AI. The fundamental difference would be the people who use AI and those who don't use AI. Because when you end up using something or technology or whatever, you get accustomed to it. You start understanding the benefits of it. And when you reach a higher level of evolution, you also realize the danger aspects that can associate with technology, like we've heard of in the past, when due to a certain development, to situations where They started talking to each other, and the third person who really created the entire concept didn't even know the language in which the two technologies were talking to each other. The fundamental point I'm trying to make is, number one, we will have to embrace AI because AI is doing things faster, better, and more economical than what humans would do. And therefore, in that certain segment, which is the big data segment, there is no option but for us to embrace AI. Number two, as we embrace AI, we need to understand what AI can do and what AI can't do. I think many a times we make this cardinal mistake of saying, oh, there is a new wave called AI, अब हर चीज AI से होगा. ऐसा नहीं होता. It doesn't work that way. Because many a times if you send a prompt to AI and AI gives you something and you put it up somewhere, you make a fool of yourself because AI will have only as much understanding as you teach the machine. And please understand, you're not the only one sending a prompt. There are thousands and lakhs and crores of people sending out prompts out there. The third point I want to make is the quality of prompt. I see a lot of people who come back and tell me, Sahil sir, AI तो काम ही नहीं करता. मैं कुछ पूछता हूँ, कुछ और जवाब आता है. I ask something and I get a different response. That's not the fault of the AI. That's the fault of the prompt. The manner in which you ask a prompt and how many people have asked that prompt in that manner will give you a result. And the moment you change your prompt, I see certain people who are so specific in what they want, and the quality of their prompts are so good that they get almost perfect answers. Point number 4. A lot of people who are very intelligent use inputs from AI only as a base because they understand that AI has done 80% of their job, but the remaining 20%, which is the area of judgment, the area of application, the area of human touch, is where they add their finesse and they make something brilliant. So 80% of their time has got saved by a great technology available. But the remaining 20% is where they add their personalized touch. And the last point that I want to make before I really come into the array of jobs is fundamentally, we have noticed that even AI has a lot of bias. And unless and until we do not understand, recognize, and appreciate this bias, we will fall prey to the cons. And that's my call out to everybody to say, you may leverage AI to all you want, but please understand the inherent bias that AI has and do not fall prey to it. Now, having said all of this as a context, very quickly, what are the kind of jobs that will get significantly impacted? Anything that's repetitive in nature, anything that is cognitive to a certain ability, any job that allows you to look at a data set, look at a hypothesis, looking at relays of that and an entire trend. It searches the entire web, all the data available, and throws it out to you. Now, the question is, what are you doing with that? What are the kind of insights are you deriving, and what are the kind of decisions that you're taking? Because that is where your ability comes in. So those people who used to do data entry jobs, who used to do jobs that were a lot of playing around with data at a rudimentary level or research kind of jobs, will have AI aiding them. Are they moving up the value chain to now think of how will they make sense of that data to derive insights and get predictive in their analytics? That is very, very important. At the top end, we also see that a lot of cognitive stuff comes out from AI, but the point still remains is how do you do reference to context? If you're working with a certain client in a certain environment, in a certain situation, how do you do reference to context, which is still getting evolved as the machine is learning? But my fundamental point still remains, be careful of the bias in AI, number one. And number two, please do understand that garbage in will be garbage out. So a lot of stuff that you push into AI is what is going to come back to us. My biggest fear, and I'm going to call this out loud, is not for our generation, Romesh. My biggest fear is not being myopic for 2024. My biggest fear is what will AI do in 2044. And I'm sure people will watch this video of yours in 2044 and not know what AI is, because it'll become a way of life. It's a classic case that today's children who are born have never seen a cassette in their life. They have never known that we as children used to put a pencil inside the cassette and turn that pencil to get the tape in order. उनको पता ही नहीं है. They don't even know that that concept doesn't exist for them. Because today, they don't even have a Walkman. They don't even have any other gadget to listen to music, but they just call out to Siri or OK Google and they're listening to it on their smartphone. And therefore, they don't have a context. Today, whatever we put into the machine that the machine learns today will become the gospel truth 20 years later. And therefore, there is a responsibility on each one of us to ensure that as much as we leverage AI, we also feed the machine the right set, because multiple wrong sets of data will create a wrong learning that will get perceived as the right learning 2 decades from today.
Right, Sahil. So definitely, if you are in era of the generative AI, so definitely there would be some new jobs that would be related to this technology. So that could be some algorithm related jobs, that may be some, prompt kind of job as you're talking about, because you may need some trainers for this, how you can train your people in the organization. So definitely there would be this kind of jobs. Uh, Deepti, in your sector, if we look at automotive sector, so already you discussed a couple of jobs, but if we try to deep dive, so in automotive embedded system, if you look your climate control kind of systems are coming there, some anti-braking systems are coming there, some airbags, a lot of innovation is going on. How do you see how it is going to generate new jobs, how it can transform the jobs in this year, 2024?
As I have mentioned, before, so we are of course generating jobs. There are jobs within the organization. There are few jobs which is getting generated newly, right? If I have to talk about one or two, one is the data science and analytical job. This is very important role of in our particular sector. Job in data analysis and the interpretation, which is growing, which will grow to these system, which will generate and utilize a vast amount of data decision making, and it helps us in decision making and optimization. Another the very important job is the cyber security specialist. Again, the way Sahil was saying, of course we have to have a right data which is there in place. However, who will have a check whether whatever data is being fed in the system has some security controls which is already there or not? Is there, are they interconnected system which are growing, and there will be an increased demand for experts on cyber security to protest and against the protest threats and vulnerabilities which are there. Third is the very important role for a support function, which Sahil has already said, and you have also mentioned the training and support roles within the deployment of AI. There will be a need of specialists to train and support the users who are using it, addressing the issues and ensuring the efficient, system which is getting utilized in the organization. And the auto sector, very important role, which is a supply chain and optimization specialist. With AI coming in, the automotive manufacturing may hire some professional to optimize the supply chain using AI to enhance the efficiency and effectibility, the cost effectibility also, which has to be seen. Yeah. So these are the few jobs which are getting generated. Of course, I'll not say these are the total fresh jobs. We are generating within the organization also, as we have already spoken about in previous discussion, wherein we said, of course there are couple of jobs which are getting obsolete, but however those are repetitive, the similar kind of job which are very repetitive in nature are getting obsolete. But within that, the user have started using the AI, the ML, but they should know how to do it. So it depends on the individual and employee how they also are taking that much of interest to be in that particular era of that job segment, which is pretty important. And for our sector, getting a trained talent from outside, we are not getting it. So it is there in everybody's mind. You have to get the fresh talent, you have to train that talent. But however, we are talking about talent, we are talking about jobs, but retaining that talent, it also is a very, very important aspect for us. Otherwise, we are just backfilling, we are redoing. But whosoever is there should stay with the organization. That opportunity also organizations have to see in their culture. That has to be a part of this particular segment of, not for 2024, for forever. Yeah, so
Right,
this is
right,
what it
Deepti.
would be my.
I think, Romesh,
Yeah.
just to add to all the lovely points that Deepti has made, and I know we're conscious of time, I'll make it very quick. I think the future of jobs is going to be about ethics and ethical dilemmas with AI. We've all heard of the lovely example of saying there were a train that was going, and the train was actually going on a track that was working, and there were 5 children playing. And then that train was also going on another track which was closed, but one child was playing there. So, what should the train driver do? Go on the track and kill 5 children, which is an operational track, or go on the non-operational track where the child was playing and kill one child. Now, this is an ethical dilemma. Today, what is happening is if the answer to the question is a maximum on a particular answer, whether it is a track which is operational or non-operational, AI will give you that. But the future, I'm hopeful and I'm praying, is about making the right ethical decisions when you're at crossroads. If AI can come in that space and help us do that, I think that is going to be beautiful. Because then our children of tomorrow will go to AI, will go to technology to help them understand not between right and wrong, but help them understand between two wrongs or two rights, which is what the future is going to be about.
Right, right. Sahil, we are at the end of time, and we have only couple of minutes left. So quickly, if you can also share your opinion on how it is going to be, because this sector, IT and tech sector, it has been under the layoffs as well, impacted by the layoffs, and still in some part of the country, layoffs are going on in this IT, and we are luckily we are insulated with this economy and the layoffs. How do you see the job market in IT and tech sector in this year?
I think, Ramesh, it's going to be fueled by a lot of growth. I think I am a firm believer and an optimist that India is growing and India will continue to grow irrespective of what's happening. And I want every single student who is passing out and every professional out there to believe in themselves. As Deepti very correctly mentioned, make learning an everyday affair. Please don't think that you've got a degree and therefore you can use that degree for the rest of your life. You have to make learning and upskilling an everyday affair. Believe in the growth story, and every day learn something new and contribute to the growth of your organization, your country, and most importantly, yourself.
Deepti, we are really at the very end of time. So, what are your final comments? How would like to, what would be your concluding remarks?
Yeah, so two, three things. One is, of course, the learning bit is again and again I'm emphasizing it, because we are day to day our day to day operation, we are facing this particular thing, and there are people, those who have been learning and they've been growing in the organization. Layoffs are there in the mind. If I have to, you know, I have to grow in the organization, I have to unlearn, I have to relearn, I have to upskill myself, and it has to be a day to day affair. It will not be. So it is not for the freshers, it is not for the experienced guys, it is for all of us. What is going to be there tomorrow, we should be ready to learn. Number two is that for people, those who have skill set, there are many jobs which are available, and we as a corporate professional, we know we are not finding the right talent right now. People are just, they are just looking at couple of things, and they are getting, couple of vibes, like the layoffs are happening, this is happening. But if you have the skill set, I personally feel, and if you have the passion to grow, That is something which is the advice for all the youngster whosoever is coming. They should be knowing their subject. They have to reskill themselves. They have to keep themselves on a learning scale. That is very, very important. And these 3 4 things which will be there always. And if I think there is no scarcity of the job for a right talent is something which I would like to summarize this for.
Very nice perspective, Deepti. I would say we have covered well. And thank you so much, Sahil and Deepti, for joining the conversation and sharing your wonderful thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you.